The words didn't arrive as a headline. They didn't explode across social media at first. They surfaced quietly, the way dangerous truths often do, spoken softly, off the record, during an unguarded moment when defenses were lowered and honesty slipped through. According to sources familiar with the exchange, Marcus Anderson, long known as Meghan Markle's closest confidant, made a comment so casual it almost sounded harmless. Almost. He suggested that his closeness with Meghan had never truly changed, not even after she married Prince Harry. Those words, once repeated, did more than spark gossip. They challenged the foundation of a carefully crafted love story. They forced people to reconsider timelines, question loyalties, and re-examine relationships that were assumed to belong to the past. Because if that bond had never faded, then Meghan's life as a duchess may not have begun on a blank page. It may have been layered over something that already existed, something deep, private, and unresolved. To understand why that single remark caused such disruption, it's necessary to rewind far before royal titles and global attention. Long before palace gates and press briefings, Marcus Anderson was just a young man from Canada with no inherited influence or family power. What he did have was instinct. He understood people, how they behaved, what they wanted, and what they feared. He knew when to speak, when to stay silent, and how to make others feel seen. That ability became his passport into elite spaces. His rise began inside Soho House, a private members club where wealth, creativity, and ambition intersected behind closed doors. Marcus started in an unremarkable role, but it didn't take long for people to notice that he wasn't just staff, he was a connector, a listener, someone who remembered names, moods, and secrets. In a world built on access, that made him invaluable. Then came the encounter that would alter everything. A working actress, filming in Toronto, crossed paths with Marcus during this phase of his career. Her name was Meghan Markle. From the start, their connection felt natural, almost effortless. It wasn't romantic in any obvious way. Instead, it was rooted in shared ambition and mutual understanding. Meghan had drive and vision. Marcus had reach and awareness. Together, they moved smoothly through spaces that might have resisted them individually. Marcus introduced Meghan to people who could elevate her public image and broaden her opportunities: designers, influencers, power brokers who operated quietly but decisively. He didn't just help her network, he helped her position herself. He understood presentation, timing, and perception, and Meghan trusted his judgment completely. Those close to them noticed something else as well. Their communication didn't rely on constant words. They exchanged glances, brief expressions, subtle signals. It was the kind of familiarity that forms over years, not months. They traveled together, appeared at exclusive gatherings side by side, and often seemed most comfortable when the spotlight wasn't directly on them. Marcus became more than a friend. He was a stabilizing force, someone Meghan leaned on when uncertainty crept in. And no matter how much her world expanded, that connection didn't disappear. It adapted. When her life grew louder, it remained quiet, but present. As Meghan's profile rose, Marcus stayed behind the scenes, shaping rather than starring. He helped refine her evolving image, connecting her with stylists and social circles that aligned with her next phase. He understood how careers are built not just on talent, but on visibility and discretion, and he managed both. By the time Meghan began entering higher social tiers, Marcus's influence was already embedded in her journey. He didn't seek credit, he didn't need acknowledgement, he simply remained there, understanding both who she had been and who she was becoming. In 2016, Marcus arranged what appeared to be a simple getaway, a stay at a secluded countryside retreat known for its privacy. On paper, it was unremarkable. In reality, it would become a turning point. According to multiple accounts, this was where Meghan and Prince Harry first crossed paths. Whether coincidence or careful planning, the meeting changed everything. Afterward, Meghan reached out to Marcus almost immediately, sharing her excitement and uncertainty. His response wasn't teasing or dismissive. It was deliberate advice, guidance that suggested he knew her inner world better than anyone else at that moment. From that point on, Marcus became the bridge between Meghan's former life and the future unfolding rapidly ahead. And as that future took shape, his presence did not fade into memory. At first, Prince Harry viewed Marcus Anderson as part of Meghan's past, a trusted friend, nothing more. Their early interactions were relaxed, even friendly, shared meals, casual conversations, polite familiarity. There was no obvious reason for concern, but over time, Harry began to notice something subtle yet persistent. Meghan was different around Marcus. Not distant, not secretive, just lighter, more herself. She laughed without restraint, spoke without measuring every word. It was a version of her Harry realized he hadn't fully known yet, and that realization settled uncomfortably. Marcus wasn't a background figure. He appeared during key moments, important trips, private celebrations, times when Meghan needed reassurance. He didn't demand attention, but he never disappeared either. Gradually, Harry sensed that he hadn't entered an empty space in Meghan's life. He had stepped into a story already in motion. This wasn't jealousy in the traditional sense. It wasn't about romance. It was about history, about a connection built over years that couldn't be replicated overnight. According to those close to the situation, Meghan never minimized Marcus's importance, and Harry, in turn, struggled to hide the discomfort that followed. Once Meghan entered royal life, many assumed her old associations would quietly dissolve. Instead, Marcus's presence seemed to follow her in less visible ways. Palace staff reportedly noticed patterns that didn't align with expectations. Late-night phone calls, private meetings framed as casual catch-ups, his name appearing in conversations where it seemed unnecessary. None of it was dramatic on its own, but together, the moments formed a pattern that was hard to ignore. Harry tried to rationalize it. He wanted to trust completely, but trust weakens when explanations stop adding up. There were messages Meghan erased quickly, overlapping travel plans that raised questions, a softness in her tone whenever Marcus was mentioned. Eventually, Harry voiced the question that had been weighing on him. Why does he still need to be here? Meghan's response was firm, not comforting. Because he's always been there. That answer didn't end their relationship, but it changed something fundamental. From that moment on, doubt had a place to live. Marcus's now infamous remark didn't emerge as a public declaration. It was shared privately during an informal conversation that wasn't meant for repetition. A journalist was present, trusted to keep the exchange off the record. After drinks loosened the mood, Marcus spoke plainly. He described his closeness with Meghan as something enduring, unchanged by marriage or circumstance. Those words carried consequences. Once repeated, they ignited speculation and scrutiny. Old photos resurfaced, timelines were dissected, every past interaction was reinterpreted through a new lens. Inside royal circles, concern escalated quickly. Advisors weren't focused solely on public embarrassment. They were worried about what Marcus knew and what he might reveal next. He had been inside private spaces, privy to moments never meant for public consumption. When Harry learned of the comment, his reaction wasn't explosive. It was quiet. He withdrew, replaying years of moments he had brushed aside. Texts, trips, expressions he had chosen not to question. Then came the discovery that changed everything. On Meghan's computer, Harry found a collection of old photographs from her Toronto years. In image after image, Marcus stood beside her, close, comfortable, familiar in a way that spoke of shared history rather than coincidence. The realization hit hard. Soon after, Harry left to spend time alone, seeking distance and clarity. It marked the first real separation since they had stepped away from royal duties together. In the months that followed, public appearances continued, smiles remained, unity was projected, but something unseen had shifted. Meghan became more guarded. Her circle narrowed. Marcus retreated from view, returning to the shadows where he had always been most effective. The headlines moved on, as they always do, but one question lingered beneath the noise. What did Marcus truly mean when he said their closeness never changed? Was it a careless truth, a moment of pride, or the hint of a reality that never fully ended? Because some connections don't dissolve when new chapters begin, they simply adapt, waiting quietly beneath the surface. And if a single sentence could unsettle a modern royal story so deeply, the unanswered question remains: what would happen if Marcus Anderson ever decided to tell the full story? Is this chapter closed or merely paused?